that's a great question because that the finding the tone of the show, I don't know if I figured it out right away. I don't know if we all did. I think it's something we discovered as we went on. But this cast is so good. They're such good actors. You know, obviously everybody knew Sarah Levy would bring comedy, but Savannah Baisley and Adam bring another level to it. And Mo is just like such a good anchor that everybody comes, gets around. Um, yeah, I asked George Olson, the creator of the show, how he would best describe it, and he did it really well for me. And I've kind of used this as my motto for both seasons. It's about unfinished business. That's what this show's about. It's about
Unfinished.
us helping finish whatever unfinished business that person or that demon or the ghost or whoever's trying to sell their house is or dealing with whatever unfinished business they have that they didn't deal with yet. They need to deal with it. Sometimes it's just dealing with the financials of selling a house, and other times it's about facing the inner demons within yourself or the actual demons, like you said so well, living under the floorboards,
Yeah.
where you have to go to hell to try and deal with the problem.
And dare I say, do you almost feel that you have a bit of a Ernie Hudson or a Bill Murray sort of itch to scratch in terms of this comedy, in terms of this sort of TV series? Do you almost feel that you're reliving the 80s and 90s in terms of Ghostbusters, in terms of not only being a real estate agent, but being on the side, a part-time superhero as well?
Yeah, I'm so lucky to be able to do a show like this. I'm so lucky that I've done a couple of shows for Sci-Fi as a network. Anytime I get a script for a Sci-Fi show, I know that it's going to be something I'm going to want, because they're just such fun shows to make. I mean, like we're fighting ghosts. You're not wrong. I loved Ghostbusters as a kid. I still do. I love this job because I get to play and pretend, and there's no better world to do it in than the undead.
Yeah, and I suppose Tim obviously filming Canada close to home, Newfoundland, and I spoke to a good few Canadian actors and actors there recently, and they're so delighted and thrilled about the scope and the landscape of the Canadian market. It seems to be booming in terms of acting at the moment, from Vancouver to Toronto to Montreal to Ottawa. There seems to be something going everywhere, and an awful lot of hit shows and acclaim shows. Before, we always reminisce about Canada and Vancouver about being sci-fi, but there's so many different concepts being shot. It really is a golden age, really, at the moment for Canadian, in terms of TV series, movies, and all that being shot in Canada. I don't remember as ever being as good as what it is now.
Yeah, when I was a kid, I remember they'd make a lot of the movies, like some of the big movies came up to Montreal to film. But they already had their big stars attached and everything. And then TV shows just started happening. Mostly it used to be Toronto and Vancouver, but Alberta has a great initiative called the Keep Alberta Rolling program. And I've filmed 4 seasons of Winona Earp in Alberta. I love it. They did The Last of Us season 1 in Calgary in Alberta, which is amazing. And then, yeah, we're lucky enough to get out to Newfoundland, which a lot of people don't know about, but it's a little island far on the east coast, kind of closest to you, actually. The closest Ireland there is Newfoundland. And it's a wonderful little island, supposedly haunted, by the way, which kind of adds to the realness of the show. I always say one of the stars of the show is our locations.
Yeah.
And that's just the beauty of what is Newfoundland. It's like nowhere else in Canada also. It's a very special place.
And I suppose, Tim, in terms of a concept and in terms of a TV series, obviously, after such an intriguing sort of season 1, people are saying to themselves, "Well, how can they go better? How can they top it? How can they keep the audience hooked and entertained? Have they sort of sold all their plots and all their teams and the ideas in terms of season 1? Is this going to be repetitive in sort of nature now? Is it just going to be sort of different angles that we've seen in season 1? How have you gone to make season 2 that bit refreshing and that bit engrossing again in terms of what the scripts are? Do you feel that really there's some really heavy storylines or good real things are that can stand as, because I know most of them are standalone episodes?
Yeah, it all kind of goes together. I feel like, season one, there was the one main house, the Donovan house we kind of dealt with. I think you'll notice in season two, there is one other house that we kind of deal with throughout the episodes. That's kind of like the real big bad house. There's always one. What makes special two so different than special one is number one, don't forget, we left season one, Luke doesn't have his powers.
Okay.
So season one, I had the ability to talk to the dead and communicate with the ghosts. Now we're trying to do the same thing we were doing, but I can't do that anymore. So there's a whole bunch of new obstacles. My favorite thing about season two is we really get into some of the other characters' backstories other than Luke's, which is just so great to see. Father Phil, August, everyone's characters are just so Zoe's character, more of her backstory, obviously Susan's. These are the people we want to know about. They're so intriguing, and we find out so much more in season two than we could in season one. So it's really amazing.
And I suppose every actor likes to be busy, and every actor likes to be in work and tied to a project in terms of, because it keeps the paycheck rolling. But some actors then obviously like to be able to go from project to project, do a guest appearance here, do a guest appearance there, shoot a movie, come back, start to keep it fresh the whole time. Are you one of those guys, Tim, that when you find something you really, really like, that you get sort of hooked in it and you buy in for the long term, or do you sort of, does that sort of going from project to project doesn't really appeal to you, but which does to some other actors and actresses? They just can't see themselves being tied down to one thing for so long.
Well, I'm kind of been so fortunate that I get to do both. I've been pretty busy, and I know how fortunate I am to do that. Just to be a working actor is such a hard thing to do. But then to get a special part like Luke on Surreal Estate, I'm aware of how amazing that is. It's such a fun show and fun part to be a part of. So yeah, I'm all in 100% on the park when it comes to Luke. I'll give 100%. They know that. I'm in for the long haul. If that show goes 10 years, they've got me for all 10 years. As long as they want me, they got me. And then in between, I love doing other stuff. I love becoming other characters. I think I'm really lucky. I am a character actor in a lot of ways. And I love just slipping into others. I love playing. I love pretending. That's why I love this job. And it's so fun. I'm really comfortable on a movie set. It's just kind of my happy place. I'm just so fortunate to get to do it. I dreamed about this since I was a kid, and then you get to do that for a job. You win the lottery in life if you get to do what you want to do. That's what it is. So I'm so fortunate to get to do what I want to do.
I suppose finally, Tim, before I let you go, second last question for you. Your character, Luke Romaine, what sort of, you mentioned there about his powers in terms of season two, trying to fight the sort of battle, sort of, with, dare I say, with one hand behind his back than he was sort of used of before. But what else is in store for Luke? Is it a season where he finds more about him inner self, or is it mainly obstacles and challenges that are put in front of him from episode to episode?
Yeah, I think it's a bit of both. I mean, it's kind of like, to bring it back to what I said like before, the show's about unfinished business. Normally the house has some sort of unfinished business. We go in, we find out what it was. Sometimes it's the owner of the house needs something they need to deal with. Sometimes it's the house, the ghost, the entity, whatever it is in the house that has a problem, and we try and help that problem. I think season two is about Luke dealing with his unfinished business, his demons, and maybe we're going to meet some more people from his past
Okay.
in season two. If you haven't seen it, I'm excited. I know it's already aired here, all of it, and people have been like, it's kind of one of those things, like, you got to watch the whole season because it all connects and it all pays off. You know what I mean? Don't halfway through say, oh, but where's the answer to this? And I don't understand. It all comes around.
Okay.
Everything makes sense.
And one final note, you probably answered this already, but just to circle back, Tim Rosen now for the final sort of 20 seconds in, maybe a sentence or maybe two sentence max. Why should all our audience listeners tune in on January the 9th for the debut of season two of Surreal Estate, and what's in store for them, Tim?
I mean, it's just, in my opinion, it's one of the best shows on TV because there's nothing else like it. Like I said, it's horror, but it also has heart, and we lean into the laughs where a lot of people wouldn't. You know what I mean? I think, it's scary when it's supposed to be scary, but it's not too scary to scare you off. And it's got a lot of heart, and it's about found family, and that group of people that kind of deal with the demons inside the house and inside their own personal lives, to be honest.
Okay. On that note, from me, Jim Conlan, to you, Tim Rosen, best of luck with Surreal Estate season 2. No doubt many more seasons to come. But all that's left for me to say is, from me, Jim Conlan, to you, Tim Rosen, stay safe, take care, and God bless, sir.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much for having me on your show.
Thank you.